Hi, in this episode of Toys Bags In, I'm going to make some acrylic stands by hand, and I'm going to customize them the size that I want them to be. I am making a video right now of redoing my whole toy room, and I used to have a teak wall unit here. It was an older one, and I took it out, and I ended up putting this IKEA shelf in here. And if you know about these shelves, I'm sure a lot of you guys have shelves like this. They're a little bit too high, and so I want to make some acrylic shelves that will allow me to take smaller figures and stack them on top of each other by having see-through acrylic shelves. So I'm excited to do this. This will give me twice as more room on some of these shelves than I would usually get just putting 3 3/4 inch figures or even smaller, and it'll allow me to stack them on top of each other. So stick around, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. It's really easy and quite inexpensive to do. So I do have an advantage doing this, is that I own a couple retail stores, and when COVID happened we bought all these acrylic sheets and had them all over the store, and now that we're not using them anymore, I'm going to reuse them instead of just throwing them out. So I've carefully measured how wide I want them to be, and I'm just going to use my bandsaw here and cut them to length. Now, to make sure my edges are nice and smooth and straight, I'm just going to take this belt sander and I'm just going to smooth out the edges, the ones that I cut. The edges that were already cut from the factory, they're really nice and smooth. So I'm just going to smooth those out, get rid of any of the harsh edges, and it should make these shelves look really professional when we're done. Now, to make these edges even better so that they're not super sharp on the edge, I'm just taking a razor blade and I'm scraping it along the very corner of each side of the piece that I cut and sanded, and this will give us some nice rounded edges. And now you can run your hand across that and they are pleasing to touch. So next we need to make a template so that I can bend these acrylic pieces a certain size. Got a bunch of different size acrylics here, but I need to have them bent at a certain size on the edges to create the shelf. So I've cut a couple pieces of plywood here. This is about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch plywood, as long as it's nice and stiff. And this is the piece here that I'm going to use because it's about 7.5 inches wide, and I'm going to use that to make my bends. Now I'm going to use this here. This is the piece that's going to be a stopper for my acrylic. I just need to screw a couple long screws into those, and that will hold it really good. Now most people, if you're in construction, you know that you want to use glue and screws. It's just a stopper, so it's not critical. You can do that if you want to. So next I'm just going to screw a couple screws in here, and we'll test it and see if it's going to be nice and sturdy. and that's pretty sturdy. 2 screws are going to be sufficient. They were pretty long. They were about 2 inches long, so that's pretty good. So now I have my heat gun. It's got a little flat bottom on it and a little stand, so it'll stand up by itself. And I'm just using my bending template just to give me an idea of where I need to heat this up. You don't want to have the heat too close to the acrylic because it'll cause it to bubble and turn white. You want it about 3 or 4 inches, even farther away if you want to, but I found 3 or 4 inches was great for the thickness of the acrylic that I have here. And you just want to go back and forth evenly over the heat. And what you'll notice is, as it gets hot enough to bend, it will start to droop and bend on its own. And then we'll quickly put it on our template and bend it with the piece that I've cut at 7.5 inches. There we go. We flip it on its side, and I'll show you here in a different view the bending process. In this shot, I'm doing a different size bend here, but it's the same idea. Instead of 7.5 inches, I think this one was more like 3.5 inches. And like I said, I am making a lot of different sizes custom for my shelf. So all you need to do is bend that and hold it for about 20 seconds and just let the acrylic cool off enough so it holds its shape. And there you go. Now all I got to do now is do the other side, and now I have a nice stand to put figures, vehicles, boxes, and also you can put smaller figures underneath if you want to do that. And as you can see, because of the template, it's really sturdy. It doesn't rock back and forth. Both of the sides are exactly the same size. Here I am in the video studio, and we're going to put some figures in here and see what kind of arrangements we can make. This wasn't what I intended these shelves to do. I thought it'd be neat to arrange them in an interesting way, and then we can put all our figures on there. You can see here we can have small figures. I got 2-inch figures, I got 2.5-inch figures, I got 12-inch figures, I've got 5.5-inch figures, all kinds of different figures that we can use to do this. And if you like to display your figures in boxes, well, the boxes look great on display as well as the vehicles too. So here's an example of what I made these particular shelves for. I've got these IKEA shelves I showed you at the beginning, and now I can stack my figures and spread them out instead of, you can see here, my aliens. They're all kind of stuffed in there and you can't really make out all the figures. Where here you can see all the figures. There's actually more space available, and I can put more figures in here if I want to. I want to put some more of the Battlestar Galactica figures. If I want to put more of the Buck Rogers figures in here, I have the space now to add to my collection instead of having to move it when I want to add something to it. So thanks for watching this episode of Toys Bag Zen. Please like and subscribe to my channel if I've earned your subscription. Thanks to all of my subscribers already. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think of these acrylic shelves. They're really easy to make. Take care.